Rev it up and welcome to Cars Yeah, show number 2086. Be prepared to be inspired.
This is Cars Yeah, where you'll enjoy interviews with inspiring automotive enthusiasts. Mark Green is here to provide you with a fuel injection of automotive inspiration. So get in, sit down, buckle up, and get ready for a wild ride here on Cars Yeah.
Hello, inspiring automotive enthusiasts, and welcome to Cars Yeah. Today I'm in Sanford, Florida, where the sun always shines, with a very special guest by the name of Corey Carruth. Corey, welcome to Cars Yeah. Do you have any gear, and are you ready to release the clutch?
Thank you so much for having me, Mark. I am ready.
All right, we're going to have some fun, and we're going to be talking car care, which is, my listeners know, it's a passion of mine. Been in the industry forever. Love taking care of my vehicles. It's just something that's how I relax. It's my zen. Now, before I give you a proper introduction and we talk about your business and your life, what's one little thing that maybe people don't know about you, Corey?
That would be that I was born in Papua New Guinea.
Whoa.
It's like a Stone Age culture in the rainforest, no electricity. Yeah, that's the thing that most people don't know.
Okay, now I get some unique answers to this question. I have to ask, what were your parents doing there?
They were missionaries. They were both from the States, and they moved there in the 70s, and my sister and I were both born there.
Wow. Now, how much time did you spend there?
The first 11 or 12 years of my life. We came back in 1988.
Oh, my gosh. This is amazing because I guess we could do a whole show on how that formed the you,
yeah,
of living in a place like that. So we're going to talk about car care, but I've got to stay on this topic because I'm fascinated. If you could pick one thing that experience at that very formidable part in your life gave to you, let's put it this way, as a gift to you, what was it?
That is so difficult because it's like living on Mars compared to living on Earth. It's such a different culture. So
right.
There's a bunch of different directions to go, but I would say my love of nature and of the planet, that would be one. And then two would be, and people, all different types of people. And then two would be, because we were missionaries, because when I was 5, I went out to the dorm and I had to go out, didn't get to be with my parents at such a young age. That now it feels like a gift. It didn't feel like a gift then, but it taught me independence and the ability to find a way to get things done, even if there was nobody there with you.
Wow. Oh my gosh. That's just incredible. Well, that's a very unique answer to that question. I've heard a lot of unique answers to that question. Holy cow. Well, I'm talking to a very special guy with a very special outlook on life and the planet. So I'm grateful for that. Let me give you a proper introduction, Corey. Corey Carruth, I like that, C-A-R, there's a car in his name, is the owner of Sky's the Limit Car Care, a website for automotive enthusiasts, neat freaks, car lovers, and premier car care professionals across the United States. He and his team seek out, test, and offer innovative, original, and high-quality products for people like you and me. They provide questions to your answers, concerns, and offer unmatched service and care. Corey handles a wide swath of responsibilities there within the business, from financial aspects to assisting customers, purchasing, and his goal in both business and life is to care for those around him with a lot of laughter and smiles. There's that Papua New Guinea. I think that's something coming through there. When he's not at work, he enjoys running, swimming, and biking, competing in the Ironman competition, Ultraman distance triathlon, and ultra marathons. Holy cow, Corey. My son-in-law Matthew just returned from the Ironman championships in Utah.
Oh, how cool.
Yeah, you guys that do that stuff, my hat's off to you. I think even in my best days as a surfer and youth and running and biking, I don't think I could do any of that. You're an amazing guy. We'll be back to learn. Yeah, well, I guess so, with enough training. We'll learn more about Corey in a few moments, but first a word from our valuable sponsors. So give them a little love. Keep your detailing hat on because we'll be right back. I've been an advocate for Covercraft products to protect my vehicles for decades. But did you know that they also offer you top quality products for your boats and watercraft? Covercraft puts their quality design, manufacturing, and fabrics into their full cover bimini tops, T-tops, boat lift covers, outboard motor covers, personal watercraft, and accessories. Protect your marine toys from damaging UV ray, and you'll get the same high-quality fit and finish you've come to know for your road vehicles for your watercraft. And I've got a great offer for you as well. As usual, use the code YEAH21 at covercraft.com and you'll get 10% off your Covercraft order. That's right, 10% off. And you get some free shipping too. Simply use the code YEAH21 at checkout. Covercraft, protecting the things that move you on the road and even on the water. Visit covercraft.com today. I recently learned about Zengen after having Matt Spurlock as my guest here on Cars Yeah. It's an oil analysis kit that allowed me to sample my engine's oil and learn about its inner health with my own personalized and detailed Zengen report. It's only $39.95 and the shipping is free both ways. Your Zengen oil analysis costs less than an oil change. I ordered 2 sample kits and discovered their easy-to-use process took me less than 5 minutes to collect my vehicle sample and mail it back to their world-class labs. In only 5 days, Zengen sent me a link via email to my very own personalized Zengen score. My custom report measures 30 different data points, including contamination, metals, lubricants, additives, and a whole lot more. I was so relieved to learn that my vehicles, well, they're doing just fine. And I've got a deal for you. Go to ZengenScore.com and use the code CARSYEAH20 and you'll get 20% off your first 2 kits. What a deal. And this makes a great Father's Day gift as well. So get your dad his very own Zengen kit. Preventative knowledge and maintenance could save you or dad thousands of dollars, and you'll rest better at night knowing that your Zengen score means your engine is in perfect condition. That's ZengenScore.com and use the code CARSYEAH20 today to get 20% off. Zengen, it'll put your mind at ease. I was talking with a buddy of mine the other day, and he asked me about American Collectors Insurance. He said, while I listen to you on Cars Yeah, you're always talking about agreed value collector car insurance. Well, I insure all my cars on my regular auto insurance policy, and I've done it for years. Why use a different company for my collector cars? I get a multi-car discount. Isn't that good enough? I suggested he call his carrier and ask how much he would get if his collector car was totaled or stolen. He called back and said, boy, that was a scary conversation. The value of my car wasn't even close to what it's really worth. Thank you for the education, Mark. So don't just hope for a fair claim settlement. Be certain and know exactly what you'll receive with an agreed value policy. American Collectors Insurance has been protecting enthusiasts since 1976. Give them a call today for your personal agreed value quote at 866-ACI-YEAH. That's 866-224-9324. Tell them you're a friend of Mark Green's at Cars Yeah. American Collectors Insurance, classic car insurance, designed by collectors for collectors, automotive enthusiasts just like you and me. They're the ones that insure my car. That's American Collectors Insurance. So, Corey, we are back. So I want to go a little deeper into this business. This is a very distinct niche business you're in. So let's go back to the beginning of why you chose to be in this business. Aside from nature and running and hiking and ultra marathons, I think you have a passion for taking care of vehicles. So how did this all start? Sky's the limit.
Yeah, it's a really long story, but I'll try to keep it shorter for you. So I was actually in a different career field, which is a long story in and of itself, but I was doing architectural engineering and design as a designer and drafter. And so it was a really cool company. We worked on really interesting, unique structures. Every job was a different thing. And it very much made me very happy and satisfied with my work because it took care of that OCD nature that's a part of anybody that really loves detailing. And so we got bought out by a bigger company, and eventually we got bought out by a big enough company to where they took all the risk and the excitement out of the job, and they made it, there was just so many redundancies in the system that I didn't wake up at 3 a.m. anymore thinking, oh, what if there wasn't the challenge that there was back when I used to wake up in the middle of the night worrying about something.
I understand. Yeah.
Yeah. So I bought this car at the time. I was 30 years old at the time I bought this car, and I'd never bought a new car before. I was still working at that job, and I bought this Saturn Sky. And to most people, it wouldn't really matter, but to me, it was like really a special thing. And I didn't know how to wash a car, so up until then, I'd only had really old cars. I'd never, it was just something, a means to an end for me to get from one point to another. That was just where my life was at. I had a lot of challenges, and I was just trying to get to work. That was the only purpose my car had back then.
Sure.
And so I got this car, and I never imagined I'd have this beautiful car that I'd been wanting for a long time. And I got it, and I thought, I got to figure out how to take care of this thing. So got on the internet, started going down the forums, and I was on the Auto Geek forum. I was on all kinds of different forums, and I came to the point where I realized, I was just trying to find the best advice and the best products I could to take care of this car, because I thought, I'm going to keep this car forever. I got to take the best care of it I can. And so that really got me into detailing and learning about products. And so I started buying products and testing products and figuring out which ones worked best. And long story short, after I just kind of got all of my, everything that the OCD side of me really just loved. That part of it. And so I got kind of obsessed with seeing how shiny I could make my car. Yeah. And I learned a lot about them. And people used to tell me, man, you should just sell products. You're helping. I got to the point where I was helping people out all the time and, on the forums and things like that. So I got to the point where people would tell me, man, you should just sell these products because you're just helping us for free. And I thought, yeah, that's funny, but I've got a good job. And long story short, one of the companies that I had started using some of their products from, CarPro, they had just entered the market, like say 2010, maybe a year old in the market, and only had a handful of products, maybe 4 products, maybe 5, something like that, a very small amount. And they said, hey, we want to launch this thing called ceramic coatings. And at the time, nobody had heard of ceramic coatings. Now, many people have. Right. But we want to launch this particular type of ceramic coating that's only available to guys that do really high quality work. It's professional only. It's not going to be like our regular C-quartz coating, but it's going to be one that we only sell to shops that do really high end work, like not the mainstream. It's going to be the 1% of the 1%. Those are the guys that are going to use this product. Would you help us? And I thought, yeah, maybe I could just do that, but I had no plans to quit my career. I had really worked so hard to get where I was in my career. And so I thought through all the other details, and finally I agreed to it. I said, okay, I'll do it. I'll start a store. And a long story short, I said, I'll start a store and I'll help you build your brand. And so I did it, and I thought through all the details, as I was, creating the company, putting it together, getting it registered, building a website, doing all these things. I thought of everything, but the one thing I didn't think about is so silly to me now is that I never do things kind of halfway. And so as I was doing this, I was thinking in my head, I'm going to keep my career, and then I'll just do this on the side, which is obviously, as you've all of the different hats you've worn and things that you've done and businesses you've grown, that there's no such thing. You can't just do it on the side unless you don't care about something, and that's completely not me. So I got into it, and I was working 40 hours a week. I wasn't working overtime anymore at my regular job. I was working 40 hours a week there, and then I was working every other waking moment here, 7 days a week. And,
no kidding.
At the time it was out of my house, out of my garage, and every waking moment was, most of the day. It was, I would get maybe 3 hours of sleep a night on average. So anyway, that's how I got started.
Wow. It's an incredible story, but it's kind of that great story of a side hustle that's a passion that becomes a career. And so many people do this, and a lot of people they don't look back and realize the amount of work and intensity it needs to build a brand and a business. But I want to dive a little deeper into, and I know you sell a lot of different products, and one thing I do want to touch on is you tend to cherry pick the best of the best of the best. As I go through your website, and I'm very knowledgeable with the car care industry, and it's become so complex, and there's so many people out there now compared to the days when I was starting Griot's Garage, and we were, we were a catalog business. There was no internet, and it was, in fact, I believe we were one of the first companies to sell car care in a catalog. And so many people said, nobody's going to buy car care that way. Mm-hmm. They have to go into a store and see it. And we proved them wrong. And then the internet came along and proved everybody wrong. So there you go. But you cherry pick the best of the best. And we'll hit on that for a second here, because I want to understand your philosophy on the products that you represent. But I really want to dig a little deeper into the ceramic coating and CarPro.
Sounds great.
So what is your priority when it comes to selecting the products?
So there's a few things that one is, you said that it's become very complex, and that was part of our thought process is so complex. There's, hundreds of brands that all sell compounds, that sell quick detailers, that sell this, that sell that. And we thought, wouldn't it be nice if somebody didn't have to get sold 100, if there was a company that didn't just sell them, buy this one and then buy this one and buy all of these. What if we just simplified it a little bit? And then number two was, how do we actually pick those products? We want really good quality products. So it's got to be good. It's got to be, top quality. And then number two, we do our very best to work with companies that share our similar values to us. So an example would be like Microfiber Madness is a company out of Germany. They refuse to deal with countries that have really horrid human rights types of situations and where they're abusive to employees or overwork them or don't pay them, that type of stuff. So that's the type of thing that really grabs our eye. If we can find a company that shares values like that, but also makes a quality product, then we're all ears.
I'll tell you something, and this is where I want to jump into CarPro and ceramic coatings. I'm not sure if my listeners know this, but I've mentioned it on social media. For the first time ever, I let someone else detail my cars. Never done that before. Local guy, he's been a guest on the show, Joe Kimball. Kimball's hands-on detailing. And I said, Joe, this is a big deal to me. I've never let somebody touch my babies, but I'm going to entrust them to you. And I want to try this ceramic coating process. I understand it, but when I left Griot's 9 years ago, it was just kind of coming on the market, and it was kind of this mystery stuff. And if you didn't use it right, you totally messed up your car, and then you couldn't get it off. It was all these complexities. Now it's like, get ceramic coating toothpaste. It seems,
exactly.
It seems to be
on their product.
It's just everywhere. So Joe did a double, 2-layer polish job on my car because my cars were 18 and 17 years old. They were very nice condition, but they had years of wiping and so forth. And so he did that. And then he put CarPro. And I said, why did you choose CarPro? And he said, well, you got to have Corey on your show to explain this more. But we looked at a lot of different options, and there's a lot of great options out there, not to disrespect anybody else, but we chose this brand for a variety of reasons. And I'll tell you, Corey, my cars are silver, so they're kind of that color that doesn't really pop a whole lot. They pop. I couldn't believe it. And when I was looking under his lights, I went, okay, you've got all these fancy lights. And then we pulled it out. Even my wife's car, the day I had to bring it home was in the rain, which broke my heart. But when I got home, all I did was blow it off, and it was like, the car is clean. So CarPro ceramic coating, take us into the concept, what it is, why it needs to be applied by somebody trained to get the right kind of use out of a ceramic coating.
Sure. Yeah. Thank you. First of all, I'm super excited that the whole reason you reached out to me was because of your experience there. So that makes me so happy. Nothing makes me happier than when our customers or the clients of our installers are super excited about the results they get.
I'm thrilled.
That's great. And Joe's such a fantastic guy. Like they've got such a great company over there too. So the idea behind the ceramic coating is, I will say the benefits. I'll start with that. So the benefits over with a C-quartz as opposed to like a polymer sealant or a wax. The first thing is the durability. It lasts a lot longer. So rather than a few weeks or a few months, polymer sealant, a strong polymer sealant, you might get 6 months out of. But a ceramic coating, like C-quartz ceramic coatings, last 2+ years. The C-quartz, I believe you got C-quartz Finest Reserve or C-quartz Professional on your vehicles.
Yep.
And those will last 3+ years. It depends on obviously how you care for them. One thing I'll say about ceramic coatings is there's a lot of companies out there that will tell you they're permanent, or you don't have to wash their car, or wash the car anymore, or you don't have to do anything. It's just I know. But some people want to believe that stuff, and so we've spent 10 years now, day after day, we just tell people the truth about how long these things really last, and that you do still need to take care of it. And it's catching on. Enough people care about the truth that after they've been stung once, they come back and they say, okay, those guys were telling the truth. But there are a lot of people out there that will say, it lasts longer than it does. But the truth is, 2+ years, if you take decent care of it and do what you're supposed to do, then 3+ years. If you have it sitting in the garage and you don't do anything with it, then it'll last 50 years. Because it's just sitting in the garage and it has nothing, attacking the coating. So, generally you're going to get 2+ years on a daily driver with the Finest Reserve and the C-quartz Professional. The reason that we wanted to put those only in the hands of of really good quality professionals was two things. As far as the quality of their work, the idea was, with regards to the type of work that those installers do or those detailer shops do, we wanted to make sure that they did really good work, because what you said, before you put the ceramic coating on, you have to polish it with an abrasive polish and fix the damage that's there. You have to remove the swirls, you have to polish the clear coat down. And guys that really do that right, it takes some time, and it takes some knowledge and some talent and experience. And it takes, I said time, but it takes some patience, and it takes some love or some care about what you're doing. If you don't really care, then, you'll buzz across that thing. It looks way better. 99% of the population thinks, wow, my car looks great, and they're happy. But some guys will really go that extra step and really dial it in perfectly. And so we thought we got to get those guys doing these cars before they put the coating on, because the coating is only going to look as good as what's been done to it first.
It's a lot like painting a car. If you don't do the prep work right, you could be the best painter in the world. But if you lay that paint down on a poorly prepared surface, it'll never look good, right?
Yeah, you nailed it. And then secondly was the quality of the person. So we thought, if we have people that don't see the big picture and just will say anything to try to get a sale, and they'll tell you it's permanent, although we have guys like that using our product, then it's going to give it a bad name, because they're going to tell people, like some people do, that it's permanent, and then 5, 6, 7 years down the line, or the first time somebody thinks they can drive through bushes and it's going to stop it from getting scratched, those people are going to be really unhappy. And so we thought we can nip that in the bud by just having really high character guys working with us.
Yeah, and the way I take care of my vehicles, and I tell you, that wash mitt you talked about, one of the things that Joe gave me was that nice car care kit that comes with the project. And it's a nice bag that doubles as an ice bucket type thing, which is really cool. It has your products in it. And you know what you've done for me, and what Joe's done for me and you, Corey, is you've simplified my life. I had so many products in my garage, and it was always like, which one should I use and which one plays nice with the other one? Because I know, developing car care like I did for 20 plus years, some chemicals don't play well with others. And if you put one thing down in your car and then try another, and it doesn't work, and it looks funny, or it hazes, something like that. So now you've simplified my life, and the fact that I'm a nutcase and I keep my cars very clean and I'm very careful. Yeah, Joe even said, he goes, Mark, a guy like you, this coating is going to last a long time.
Yeah.
And
when you said that it was that the cars are 17 and 18 years old, I was just imagining. I could just imagine how well you've taken care of them already.
Well, they are pretty stunning. And if you go and look at Joe Kimball's Facebook page and even my social media, I posted pictures of both the cars after I got them.
Wait. I'm going to go look after the show.
Yeah, they look really, really cool. And you listeners know that about me. I'm just a nutcase when it comes to my cars. So you've resolved kind of the mystery of this, and I really want to encourage listeners out there, if you're ready to let someone else play with your car, or if you have a daily driver that you don't want to mess with but you want it protected, how can people go and find out who uses CarPro?
Well, a lot of people use CarPro, but the guys that we have a really strict vetting process for the installers that use those particular products. And if they go to cqfinest.com, then they will find all our installers right there. And then if they have any questions, or if they have any questions or any other things that they want to learn that they can't find on there, they can always reach out to us directly at Sky's the Limit as well.
Cool. I'll put a link to that. And again, listeners, you can go to their website, Sky's the Limit website, and I'll put links to that as well. And you can see all the other cool products, including this wash mitt, which I know so much about all these different products. And I pulled that wash mitt that came with my customer service kit, I guess you'll call it, that Joe gave me. And I went, this is different. I've never seen anything like this. But when you said it's from Germany, I imported a lot of products from Germany. They are very picky about what they create. And I've driven German cars for decades. So there you go. We're going to take a short break, thank our sponsors, and we come back. I want to talk a little bit about life and challenges. So keep that thought in mind, and we'll be right back. You listeners know I've been into car care my entire life. I am so excited to team up with AutoGeek in 2022. AutoGeek.net has been a leading source of auto detailing products, accessories, and expert knowledge for more than 20 years. What started in 1997 as a mail-order catalog company has grown into a multi-website based e-commerce store that they are today. With a large online presence on its own website featuring close to 100 different brands, AutoGeek has grown to be the largest car care retailer in the country. AutoGeek's wholesale program serves accounts in over 30 countries, and its retail sector ships worldwide. Go to autogeek.net for the best product selection on the internet today and their stellar technical support. autogeek.net. It's where I go for all my detailing needs. That's autogeek.net. Being a professional automotive technician today requires an understanding of technology, computers, and electrical systems that are highly advanced and very complex. Cars Yeah is pleased to support TechForce Foundation. It's one of our charities of choice, and its efforts to help young people pursue the technical education and careers as automotive techs. Through scholarships, grants, and good old-fashioned hands-on experience with cars, trucks, boats, and more, TechForce and Cars Yeah are working to connect young people with viable careers in the automotive sector. Join us by visiting techforce.org today. Linkage. It's a new quarterly publication and website that covers the automotive market, driving, restoring, collecting, and discovering your passion for motor vehicles. Linkage is about experiences, opinions, and values. Linkage is an actual informed, reasoned opinion based on first-hand experiences. A talented linkage team covers the automotive world, the people who share your passion and mine, smart, considered, rational, and experienced opinions, ones you can learn from and grow. That includes our passion that drives auctions and the collector car market. So come with me and join us on this journey. And be sure to use the code CARS Yeah when you subscribe, and they'll give you $10 off. Boom! Linkage, geared for the automotive life. Subscribe today at linkagemag.com. So, Corey, let's talk about this. Big challenge, big obstacle, maybe a big failure. What was that in your life? And more importantly, what was that lesson you learned?
There's some big ones. I would say the biggest challenges, honestly, I would say it was starting my business. That's the first 3 years are like this tunnel that you just can't see the light at the end of the tunnel. The first 6 months are one thing, but eventually, with the lack of sleep and everything, it's eventually just, I would say I'd say a week, probably a week before I finally quit my career job. For 3 years, I did both. And
wow.
I was probably a week from an emergency room, but I was just broken mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally. But from an overall perspective, I would say that physically, I would say my biggest challenge would be the Antelope Canyon, a 100-mile ultra marathon that I did.
Okay, I was wondering when we were going to get to that, because when I look at my son-in-law and the training he did and the intensity of these events, he did one down in Yucatan at the end of when he and my daughter got married, a 10-day honeymoon, I guess you should say, and then he decided, I think I'll do a Ironman competition at the end, and that was after getting dysentery from drinking bad water.
That's great. He sounds like me. What a warrior.
Oh yeah, warrior. So. Now, I know this isn't car related, but I want to ask you this, because you watch these things and you see people just on the edge of not life, but just the edge of just total collapse.
Yeah.
How much of these ultra marathons, Ironmans, these things that you do is mental, would you say?
I would say 90%.
90. Wow.
Yeah, I would say 90%. It's somewhere between 50 and 90, depending on how hard you trained and how many years you've been doing it, and then the distance that you're doing. But 90 would not be an exaggeration in some of these situations.
Okay, so let's relate this back to your challenge answer. And that is 3 years of 2 jobs, working your tail off. I won't say having no life, because you were doing things, but you know what I mean.
I had no life. You're right.
You've got to dedicate.
I mean, that was my life. It was,
So the mental capacity needed to carry on. It's a lot like Jocko Willenick. If you look at his book, he talks about, driving through things and getting to the end and just not giving up and just keep moving on. Is that really what an entrepreneur has got to have? And what aspect of that helped you get to where you finally said, okay, now the business, I'm going to focus on this. And then your next phase began.
Yeah, you really nailed it. That mindset is essential, in my opinion, or a lot of luck. But I think that's very, very rare that just luck would get you through. That mindset of no matter what. I mean, for some people it might be harder than others. Some people might have more challenges than others. But no matter what, I think you have to have that mindset. But certainly, if you don't have much support to get you rolling, then that's absolutely essential. In my case, I remember being about a year into it, and I hadn't slept. Like I said, I hadn't slept in a very long time. I was just starting to question, like, what have I done? Like, what have I done? I was at the point where I knew I was all in, and that I had underestimated how much effort it was going to take. But now I was deep in this, and I was going to build something amazing, and I was going to do everything that I had to succeed. I couldn't quit, and I couldn't fail. So the only thing I could do was keep going. And I got about a year into it, and I just finally, I thought, I was looking at the numbers, and I thought, I think I've got a little bit of I think I'm going to get a profit. And I had this order, this chargeback on a credit card. It was a $1,000 order, which was huge for me at the time. It was from Indonesia. My first order from Indonesia that I thought, wow, this guy from Indonesia bought $1,000 worth of stuff. This is cool. And a month later, it was a chargeback. And and so that was, I remember waking up that next morning. That was 3 a.m. that I saw that email with the chargeback. And I finally went to bed, and I had to go back to work. A few hours later, it was time for me to go back to my other job. And I woke up literally in tears. Like, I woke up in tears, like, what? There's just no longer a light at the end of this tunnel. I'm not going to make any money, and no matter what I do, and I can't quit. Like, I've got to find a way. And I just let myself have that 30 seconds, and then I realized I couldn't spare more than 30 seconds on feeling sorry for myself.
Yeah.
And I
That's all the time I got to be that miserable.
Kept moving.
How much this health aspect of your life, which seems to be extremely important, and many of us, and I'm guilty of this way too much, is ignoring health and focusing too much on work. Can you offer maybe some words of inspiration for people out there that really might get them to change their mindset, me included, on the importance of caring for your physical nature and how that relates back to your mental nature, and more importantly, how that relates back to your positivity and your profitability of your career?
Yeah. I wish I knew what to say. More than anything, I want to be able to share that with people and say, hey, because I want it for everybody. I know how it feels for me when I go for a run, or I go for a swim or a ride, or whatever I do that in the morning. There's days I don't really feel like doing it, but I do it, and I never, ever regret it. Like, once I've done it, or once I start doing it, 20 minutes into it, there's no regrets. It changes your life. I mean, I wasn't always a health person. Like, I wasn't always a healthy person. I wasn't always into eating the right foods. I wasn't always into exercise. The first 38 years of my life, or at least, from when I moved to the United States up until the age of 38, that was not at all who I was. But it's a long story, so let me not delve into that. But I will say, we weren't meant to be still, and we weren't meant to eat ultra-processed foods. And the whole system is holistic. So what you just said, like you said it right there, like how's it going to help you professionally? How's it going to help you in your mind by moving and doing these things correctly? It's going to, because that's the way we were designed. If we don't move and we don't eat the right things, then everything stops working. Your microbiome inside you dies. Your body, your mind stops producing the correct chemicals, and then you have to take pharmaceutical chemicals to make you feel good, because your body isn't producing them anymore. It just won't work. Like, we were meant to be a holistic being. Like, all of the things have to work in tandem, and if you don't do those things, like, for me, it's not even about how long will I live. It's about how will I feel.
Yes.
In my latter years. And that's what changed my life when I was 38. That's why I started doing what I was doing. That's why I started eating right and exercising and running, because that was the one thing that I thought maybe would make me, find more satisfaction and happiness in life. I realized I was out of breath for no reason at all. And so that was kind of what turned it for me. And now that I live like that, I mean, I just can't even imagine, the old me or living another way. It's if you could just find a way to do it. I mean, people have responsibilities, kids, and, all these different things. But if you just do 20 minutes a day, like, all you got to do is get up 20 minutes earlier, or go to bed. Like, most people stay up way too late. Like, almost everybody that I know stays up way too late. Like, there's no, for what? Like, to watch more TV? Man, you're going to feel so much better if you go for a run, or if you hate running, then go for a ride, or swim, or jump rope, or something, dance, whatever makes you happy, but move. You just got to move. Great
advice there. And there's two things that relate as a car guy that I'll share with perhaps listeners out there that struggle with this like I do. One is cars don't like sitting. They fall apart, their seals.
Exactly.
They start to leak, and your body does the exact same thing.
It's so true. I love that analogy.
Yeah, somebody said that. And the other thing is I saw a great interview with Mike Tyson and Joe Rogan. And Mike Tyson said, to be a warrior, to be strong, to be physically fit, to do what you know your body needs, you got to learn to love what you don't like to do. And once you figure out how to do that.
Ooh, I love that.
Yeah.
I can relate to that.
Once you figure out how to do that, you will have to do that physical exercise because your body will crave it and your mind will tell you this is good. So yeah, two great things. I really appreciate you sharing that with me. I'm going to be your car psychologist today because we kind of went off track here. So I'm bouncing around a little bit, but I'm going to be your car psychologist and ask you a question that I bet no one's asked you. If you were reincarnated, pun intended, as a vehicle, what would you be and why?
I would be a Honda Civic. Because
this is interesting.
I mean, that's not what I would want to be, probably, but
well, that's not the question, too. Yeah, it's the man in the mirror.
Yeah, just because it doesn't give up on you. It keeps going. So that's why I'd be Honda Civic.
I understand. Is there a really special vehicle? You mentioned that Saturn. You think of Saturn, which was a pretty successful for some time for GM and what they did with Saturn vehicles. A very unique approach. Is there a special vehicle in your life?
Yeah, it would be that Saturn Sky. I mean, now I have a Model Y, a Tesla, and I love that. I love their company, and I love the tech, and I love it. But still, like that Saturn Sky, just because that means a lot to me.
Yeah. How about a great book that you'd like to share with our listeners that you learned a lot from or enjoyed?
So this goes back to your other question too. If people want some motivation on moving, there's a book called Finding Ultra. From Rich Roll, and that's a fantastic book, really good. And then if I shared one more, it would be, I believe it's called The Book of Joy, and it's written with meetings from the Dalai Lama and Archbishop Desmond Tutu, and that's just a beautiful book as well.
Nice. Great recommendation. So I'm going to enable you to go on the ultimate drive today, Corey. I'm your dream come true today. I've got a wide open checkbook. Whatever you want to spend of my money, it's yours to spend. You can have any car. You can be driving anywhere, and you can be with anybody, even somebody who's passed. What does the ultimate drive look like for you if you allow yourself to take maybe a week off or so?
It's going to be probably a 66 Shelby Cobra.
Ooh.
And I'm going to go for a ride with Marcus Aurelius.
Oh, my gosh. Okay. I have had some really cool responses to this question of late, some very unique answers. And I think I know why Marcus Aurelius. I love his writings, his stoic,ism.
Yes.
Is that what you like about Marcus Aurelius?
That's exactly right, yes.
Yeah.
I would love to see who he really was in person. And I've got some questions for him.
I love that whole thing. There's you probably know this, a whole website. You can subscribe to it, podcasts about stoicism. Yeah, I love everything about that. So where would you take Marcus for a ride?
I'm not sure where I'd take him. I hadn't thought of that. I know I'd be driving since he doesn't know how yet. But not, yeah. I guess I'd just take him for a long ride around wherever the curviest roads I could find, probably around Lake Monroe, out into the outskirts of Sanford, probably out in the country.
Nice. Unique answer to that question. I love it. So before I let you go today, and you've taken us on a very cool ride, could you leave us with some words of wisdom, a success quote, a mantra, or something inspirational to think about today?
I would say, number one, it's never as good or as bad as it seems. So whatever you're going through, it's never as good or as bad as it seems. I don't know where I read that. That's a quote from somebody. I don't know who. But those are such wise words. And then number two, I would say you have zero control over anyone but yourself. So it's pointless to stress about anything that others say or do. To focus on your own words, your own actions, and your own thoughts. Stay positive. Practice being positive anyway. And be honest and caring and try to be of service to others.
Boy, do I need to remember that one. Yeah. We all do, especially with social media these days that wrap us up in knots.
Yes.
As my wife always says, why do you care what that person thinks?
She's a wise woman.
She is. Yeah, married a very smart woman for sure. So how can people learn more about your business?
So they can go to our website. It's skycarcare.com. They can find us on social media at skycarcare, or if they want to reach us by email, if they go to that skycarcare.com, there's a link right in the middle of that upper page with a link to our service at carpro-us.com email address.
Absolutely. If any of you listeners want a little bit more thought process on ceramic coatings and things in my experience, you know how to find me. You can just go to mark@carsyeah.com. Happy to answer questions about it. If you're thinking about diving into this and having this done to your car, so far so good. I'm thrilled with the process, so please reach out to me as well. I'm going to do a shout out thank you to Megan at Auto Geek and, of course, Joe Kimball and his amazing team who took care of my two cars over there at Kimball's Hands-On Detailing. In fact, I'm taking my wife's X5 back for its first wash. They do a nice courtesy wash to kind of make sure everything's working out okay. He said, how about your M3? And I said, I drove it home and it hasn't moved, so I don't think it needs to be washed quite yet. Maybe we'll do that a little later, but Jill's been out driving in the rain, so I'm amazed at what your product has done. CarPro ceramic coating, very cool. Corey, thanks for being so generous today with your time and your expertise.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, this has been really fun.
Thank you so much, Mark. A lot of fun.
I could talk to you forever. Until you and I talk again, I'll see you down the road in my shiny cars.
Likewise.
Thank you so much for joining us on today's ride here at Cars Yeah. Drive on over to carsyeah.com to find show notes and inspiring automotive fun. Download your free copy of Filler Up, a fun book filled with gorgeous photographs of fuel filler fun, including quotes from more inspiring automotive enthusiasts. Download your copy today, and we'll see you next time on Cars Yeah.